Hey guys, Bobby YouTube here, and if anyone knows me, they know that my favorite author, I've mentioned this before, is Max Lucado. If anyone ever wants to know anything about the love of God, I would definitely suggest this author. One of my favorite books is called Traveling Light. I actually got about maybe 16, 17 of his books, and the story I'm about to tell you is not actually in Traveling Light. I don't remember which one was in because I've read so many of his books, but the story goes like this. Max Lucado actually met a man around his 50s, and he was blind, but he wasn't born blind, and he was a Christian, and he told how in his mid-20s he was a very successful independent contractor who was professionally put in windows and the caulking, and he would be a great handyman. He was very independent, very successful, and he would work out of his father's garage. So in his mid-20s, in the prime of his life, he got a rare eye disease, and he started going blind. They told him within 6 months and a year he'd be blind, and that's exactly what happened. He became blind. So the man became very depressed, very bitter, moved back in with his mother and father, and lost major weight and fell into serious depression. You know, didn't want to talk to no one, didn't want to go nowhere. So his father couldn't take it anymore. His father got very mad and upset, and he grabbed him by his hand and took him downstairs into the workplace where the basement is, or the garage rather, and he went and bought new windows and put all his tools where they used to be, and put his hands on the tools, says, look, here's your tools, here's some windows, I want you to put in all new windows, I want you to fix this shelf, and I want it all done by tonight, and I want the place cleaned up. And the father went and slammed the door and left the house. The man was in shock. I mean, the man was in absolute shock. So, how can a father do this to me? How can he do this to me? I hate him so much. Look how I'm banging in this window. I could bust my hand in the window, and who would be there to help me? And as he went up the ladder, you know, fixing the top part, he said, look, what happens if I would have fell off this ladder and bust my head? Who would be there to help me? I can't believe my father would hate me this much. I just hate him. I can't believe he would do this to me. But by the end of the day, the windows were up and everything was put aside. And at that moment, the man understood that, you know, yeah, maybe he can do this. And little by little, day by day, he got a little better and a little better. And he started gaining weight, and he became very independent again. And he hired a crew, and he became very successful. And as he was telling Mr. Lucado that on his father's deathbed, he went and visited him. It's a tough story. And he went and says, you know, Dad, I have to confess something to you. That day that you left me alone in the basement, I really hated you. I really hated you. I mean, at that moment, I couldn't feel any more hate than I did for you. I mean, I couldn't understand how you would let your child alone, a blind man who can get hurt. But now I see what your point was. Now I understand that, you know, what your motive was. And I want to thank you for giving back my life, you know, leaving me alone in that basement that day. I want to thank you. So the father turned to the son with tears in his eyes, and he says, I also have something to confess to you. The whole time in the basement, I wasn't more than 3 feet from you the whole time, just in case you fell. Again, it's a tough story. Have you ever been mad at God? I have. And I heard a pastor say one time that if you are, look at yourself and see if you're offended at God, because you can never truly worship with all your heart if you have some sort of offense. And I had to ask myself, and I was kind of bitter with God. I was born and raised in Atlantic City my entire life, and I left when I was 30, and I got saved, and I understood, you know, I maybe had to leave Atlantic City to get saved, but my question was this: why couldn't I got saved in my hometown? I loved Atlantic City. I did. It was my town. It was my butcher shop, and it was my store, and my clothing shop, and my boardwalk. And if anyone ever grew up in one spot and never left, fortunate enough, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It was your haircut place, and your car wash, and your cleaners, and you grew up with the people there, and you walked down the streets, and you knew everyone, and everything was familiar and comfortable. And I was very upset with God. And through YouTube, I know as silly as it might sound, the Lord revealed to me if you go into my videos on BobbyDo7777, you will see videos called My Life in Maine, My Life in West Palm Beach, My Life in Rooney's Church, My Life in Boston, My Life in Lacey, New Jersey, My Life in Staten Island. And as I look at these videos of myself, okay, God wanted to show me the world. I've met so many people since I left Atlantic City. It's not that I don't love Atlantic City, I'm even talking bad about it, but since I left, I've met so many amazing, wonderful Christian people. I've met so many pastors. I've seen so many revivals and retreats and barbecues, and my life had just opened up. And when I confessed to God that I was upset with God about it, He revealed to me how much more He's done for me. That just leaving me Atlantic City might have been fine, but I just would have been in Atlantic City. So many a times I've worshipped God and been in church with that offense. And now that I'm letting it go, and now that I'm seeing my life in a bigger picture, things are getting lighter, things are getting easier. So my question to you is, are you upset with God? Is there something deep in your heart, and it's something you have to ask? Because, I mean, are you asking, why did this happen? Why my child? Why didn't you bless my plans the way you did? Why am I not delivered yet? There's so many things that you can be offended at God. And if you're trying to worship and pray with an offense in your heart, God already knows. It's tainted. You know what I'm saying? I did it. Confess what you're upset about. Tell God, God, I'm so upset with you. I'm so mad. And this is maybe taboo to people. And it was taboo to me. Oh, no, you can't say you hate God or mad God. But you know what? He already knows what's there. So get alone. Tell God, God, I'm so mad about this. I need you to reveal to me, why did this happen? Now, you may not always get an answer, and it may not be soon, but throughout the years, I've seen my life change. I've seen things why He did this. And it may be the same thing with you. I mean, you may not get an instant answer, but if you open your heart, open your mind, and ask God for your forgiveness, you're going to understand that His plans are always better. If you're upset with God for any reason, know that His plans are perfect. Know that He loves you. Like the father, who the son was mad at him because he thought, how can a father leave his blind child alone to get hurt? And he told him he was only 3 feet from the whole time. Well, Hebrews 13:5. God says, I'll never leave nor forsake you. God is with you right now. With your offense, with your hurt, with your depression, whatever you're going through, know that He loves you with an everlasting love. God bless you guys. Leave comments. I just thought it was an amazing story about God's love. And a lot of people might be hurting right now, wondering why God did this. Don't just ask why. Thank Him for it. I know how hard that might be, but thank Him for the situation, because in the end you'll see He's always right. God bless you guys. Leave comments.